Broadcasting from the Teddy Belanger Memorial Studio. Welcome into episode 116 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele. Got Ryan Boyles over there. And welcoming in special guest for a Avett Brothers year in review. I guess is kind of a annual tradition that we have. We can say that because we've been doing this for a few years now. Tim Mossberger is back with us. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Going all right.
Good to see you as always.
What a year it's been.
Yeah. It's been. So you said I have a stack of notes. So where do you want to start with the year in review of what is Avetts? We have albums to talk about. So many other things.
Well, yeah. We'll start with the tour, I imagine. Well,
okay.
So they performed 55 times, but obviously 3 of those are the Avett Patent. That includes I can include any performance, and one of them includes in January when they performed at the funeral for the officer. Yeah. So really, it was 51 full shows. Okay. One show, no Bonnie. One show, no Tanya. So other than that,
full
band. So, but yeah, So, and definitely an interesting tour year, and I would assume. Should have known it from the first show when No Hard Feelings was the 6th song played.
Right.
And from then on, that show, if you look at the set, go back to the set list of April 3rd, it goes No Hard Feelings, then they go like Weight of Lies, and then they go on to play Belladonna, they play Pretty Girl from Cedar Lane, they play Skin and Bones, they play Incomplete Insecure, all that show, songs they hadn't played in over 100 shows.
I'm just thinking back to last year, 2024, when we did the year in review last year. We were talking about, what are they doing? Why are the set lists so repetitive? Do you think it's going to change next year? Do you think they heard that talk? And we kind of heard their explanation of all this. It was because they had a new album out. But
I don't think that they hear that much, just like until they hear it eventually. I think eventually, yeah, just like, when the whole Avett Moon talk and finding out about, Laundry Room opening the show, and some fans ain't feeling it. They don't have any clue. They're not that, probably aren't trying to pay attention to little complaints and details until they hear. Not saying that they don't want to hear them, because when they hear them, they're fine, but they ain't seeking them out. It would be my guess. Which Laundry Room opened 10 times, I think, this year. If anybody needs that information.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I just think they also probably instinctively just had to know we need to play some other stuff. It excites people who haven't been there, and even new fans to hear something they've never heard or even didn't think they would ever hear. Is exciting. So,
yeah, my first show this year was actually Merle Fest, and it was my first Merle Fest, so that was kind of interesting. And they got introduced by the North Carolina governor to come on stage. So that was an interesting show for me because they played No Hard Feelings was number 11, and they played Groundhog, Little Sadie. They
with
played,
no Paul.
Yeah, and they played Wanted Man and I Killed Sally's Lover. So it was kind of it was a good set.
Yeah, that was I think that was the theme of 2025 was the sets were amazing. They played a ton of different stuff that they haven't played in a long time. Like you were saying, been over 100 shows since they played.
Yeah, there were
some
28 of their original songs had been over 100 shows without appearing on a set list. 28 were played this year.
Wow. That's wild.
And the last, some of those, a handful of those are requests. A lot of fans, reaching a milestone of 50, 100, even a 200.
Yep.
That gets a song that maybe they wouldn't put on there, but there were still some that weren't requests that made a return. Pretty Girl from Matthews because Bob on here, I would imagine, and so just little things I think click in their mind. I imagine like, oh, let's bring this back. So it could be anything from a request or just a thought of something. But that's how it's always been. I know that's how it's always been because even like the last time they played like one the whatchamacallit. Well, I'm trying to think. There's been plenty of songs. The last time they played them was a request or somebody mentioned it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we should relearn it."
I forgot about that Pretty Girl from Matthews thing. That was pretty cool. And we mentioned it to Bob, or what song that, what was our question to him? What was it, his favorite song to play or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. And then they ended up playing it. Yeah,
It
that
was
was
the
great.
next show. Yeah. I
Well, and
forgot
the
all
other
about
thing was, I'm trying to think back now. So when they played, they had a song that they played. I'm looking at the database right now. It was at the Ozark. No, Music Fest, maybe. Let me see. Uh, okay, I'm going to be looking while y'all are talking because I'm not finding what I'm looking for. There was a song that I think it was another one of those, like you're saying, that they hadn't played in a really long time, and then something happened with the audio, something flubbed that night, and then they ended up playing it the next night
Pretend
again.
Love.
Pretend Love,
Pretend
yes.
Love.
There you go. So they played Pretend Love, and then they ended up repeating it the next night, I think just because they wanted to like get it right.
Then I think they played it a third time. They played it a couple times. It stuck around.
Right.
Like some stuck around, some songs only got the one play or so, some of those songs, My Losing Bet,
Yep.
famous. Oh, I enjoy, there's a nice YouTube video of it, of the famous Flower of Manhattan. It's just Scott and Seth only performing it. That's one of the better videos, I think, from the year. That's a really good performance.
But when you look at Pretend Love, and I love how the database now has like the long gaps, 350 show gap. I mean, that's crazy.
Wow.
And honestly, so I am going to make a promise to you tonight, Tim. I have videos of that performance that I haven't uploaded. I need to get them up there because you don't have links to either one of those.
Yeah.
I'll make a promise to give you those here shortly in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, 350 shows. How many years is that? How many shows did they play a year?
That's a lot.
But now they only do, they do like 50 to 60, So
that's like 6-7 years they haven't played it. 6 or 7 years.
The last time they played it would have been, it inspired the whole sticker competition at that one New Year's, because when they played it, Seth did the whole Elvis thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the database tells you this too. I'm going to become a commercial for the database all night. The last time that would have been 2018, and then before that it was even 5 years earlier than that. So yeah.
But that's a song they played all the time in the 2006, 5. Kind of was on most sets. Even when a lot of their set lists were 7, 8 songs, and that would make it a lot of times. When they played in bars, it was a good bar song. I imagine they felt like it was. Slowed it down, and
And then they just stopped playing it because other albums came out and they had other songs. And
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that they go back to the old stuff. I'm still waiting for one of those like songs off the original LP to show up in a show someday. Like maybe, probably not, but I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, could happen, but I don't know. But you never know. I mean, I'm always surprised at the fact that My Losing Bet's been played a few times, and even what was it last year played beside the Yellow Line. So there's always hope of something being thrown out there that's truly.
So here's a question for you. If the Avett Patton thing really takes off, because like Mike Patton has this huge, we'll talk more about Avett Patton obviously here. What happens to the tour? Like if they decide to do more Avett Patton shows?
I don't think he'll do. He's not known for touring as much. I mean, I think he'll do his spots. I think the chance of them going to other countries is real. Right. That's what he brings. Like of him going to Brazil, they were brothers finally making it to Brazil, Australia, which they've never done. They want to do, they need to hit Hawaii. So then but the only way they'll do Hawaii, if they do Hawaii, then you might as well go to Japan and then go to Australia. And like those kind of things open to a real possibility, because they'll draw tons of fans. If they, especially like going to South America is probably possible because of Mike Patton. I mean, if you ever read, there's a good, it's been years, but I read a book on Faith No More once, and I had no idea to that book of how huge in Brazil Faith No More was and Mike Patton. I mean, humongous.
That's
like
crazy.
on TV, like giving, hanging out with the president and stuff, like huge, like
Was
a
it the same in
legend,
Europe?
huh?
Was it the same in Europe too?
Yeah, I think they're pretty big in Europe. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if it's equal to Brazil. I mean, when I reading that book, I was just like, holy cow, they are huge. And like they're going, Mr. Bungle's going to Brazil next year.
I
So
saw
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. There's probably at some point a real possibility of that. If they want to do it.
That would be
Do
cool.
the Avets want to do that, or don't you know?
Sure. I would imagine that. So.
Who doesn't want to go to Brazil or
Well,
Japan?
right.
Come on.
I would do that.
Then you can legit say we're big in Japan.
Right. So, do we want to go more into the Avid Patton thing now, or do you want to finish up the tour year stuff first? I don't know what else you had notes on for the tour year.
Just kind of, the other milestones of the year would be, the laundry room and Head Full of Doubt reached 1,000 plays all time during
Wow.
the year. So they're the first two songs to do that. So they
First
went over
breakthroughs.
1,000. And
Wow.
and then, Prison to Heaven was played for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm not on an actual in front of a crowd. I mean, they played it during COVID and stuff, but this was a real concert.
I'd still like
But,
to hear
so-
more songs off that album played during
Yeah.
shows.
They just, I feel like COVID killed that album.
Yeah, that's too bad.
So, but
COVID killed a lot.
overall, I mean, to me, it was a really good year. There's lots of great videos linked to the database to check out. They played a good chunk of Pretty Girl songs, 7, which is the most in quite a number of years. Because I was looking through it, and the last time they played all 12 was 2010.
Wow.
Other than that, it's usually like 4 to 6. Sometimes less than that over the years. So the fact that 7 were played.
I'm
was
just
pretty
thinking,
good.
my first show I went to in 2022, they played 2 Pretty Girl songs. That's pretty good to get 2 in one show, then, right?
Yeah, because they disappeared for a little while. Like for a little while, maybe you got Chili, and that's about it. Sometimes like they didn't play. There was a bunch that dropped off, and then
I'm trying to.
slowly coming back. I feel like.
I'm looking at my set list. I got Pretty Girl from Chile and Pretty Girl from San Diego back to back.
Yeah, San Diego doesn't get played, too often.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, San Diego's under 50 times.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. I got
Well,
it.
you know, probably a few missing set lists, so probably a couple
Maybe,
more
yeah.
for that one, but not too many because I don't have too many missing from 2007 on, just a couple. So it could have been played, but what else I got? Overall, like I said, I think a really good year. I mean, I think it was great to have so many fans. I think celebrate some milestones. I mean, for me personally, with Avett fans, we lost a great, people lost some people. We lost David Butler, who's a great historian, and
Man,
the
yeah.
band owes a lot to, in my opinion, as a fan. Like, you couldn't have a better fan and someone to spread the word of your band than David Butler. And-
Can I tease a little something? Not to interrupt you, and we can get back to David. His son is going to come on the show,
well, that's
and we're going to have him on and talk about his dad and his influence on the band and all this stuff. That's going to be cool. I've been chatting with him quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to make that happen sometime in the new year.
good. That's
But,
good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and I know a lot of fans do know about David, and but he did a lot. He did a lot, and he was always kind, and shared information, and had just he wanted to know more about the songs, and was good to ask questions. He kept track of a lot of things early on, information, and just he was he helped spread the word of the band and helped the band grow.
Right.
And I was always
Do you know-
appreciative of David, and he's missed.
You know his son, Nate?
No, I don't know his son. I mean, I know of
Oh.
him, but I don't. I mean, I only.
Hey, he's a
ever
good
hung out with
dude.
David, so
Seems like a really good guy. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I think we can get some good stories out of him from what he remembers from his dad telling stories to him, I think. All right. So what else you got for the year, the tour year?
I don't know. We can move on to the albums if you want.
Do we want to start with Feed, or do you want to go into David Patton first? Feed came out first.
Yeah, that came out first.
We've kind of talked about
Yeah.
that earlier, but
Well,
again,
we did. I want to be fair. We like. I feel like we talked about it right. Wasn't it the week right before it came out?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like predictions and hopes and fears and all that kind of stuff.
And I think all three of us loved the album, right? I did. I know Ryan did.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I have some. I mean, if I was being critical, there are things that I'm like, man, I wish. Like, I think of the last song, the Time Traveler. There's like a verse. There's like a set of lines in there. I can't remember them offhand, but I think I wrote about it once that I wish more of the album would have been like that. Like, that's my only. I only have a few little minor complaints about a little cheesiness here and there, but it's also.
Is that because of the?
Like,
is that because of the sort of the mix of seriousness and silliness?
Yeah,
or,
and like again, like so, I'm not like a huge complaint about it, but like, man, I just think I won't be I'll put it this way. I mean, I enjoyed it enough that I would be okay with him making another one. And if he did, I'd like to see him take a bigger risk, I suppose, in the beats, the music, and then, just lyrically, maybe it just be a little different. But I understood what he was trying to do and the kind of scope of his everyday life, and just I understand it all. But I mean, going back, like if he was going to make another one, I think there'd have to be some changes. I don't think you could do some of it again. Like some of it wouldn't work a second time. Is all I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was so much. It was really heavy in some parts, right? I mean, it was a lot of confessional type stuff, and which I mean, it's Seth. That's most of his music is that way. But then, like you said, how it's put together. I don't know. I did like this sort of. I mean, 21st Century Casanova. I really I like the swagger of some of it. It was like surprising, Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have like I said, I can listen to it and there's just a few, it's good. And then there's a few parts that I'm just kind of like, but overall, like, I'm glad he did it. And he wanted to do it. So that's all good.
Yeah. We talked a lot about like his influences and stuff the last time we talked about this. And we played a lot of the rap and stuff that he was influenced by. So do you think it lived up to the old school stuff, or
what do you mean, like as if he was? I mean, I think it lived up a little bit to. He's a 40-something-year-old guy who made his first rap album. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad may seem bad, but not in a bad way. I mean, I think it's if you're comparing it to say Nas, like I mean, I'm pretty sure he'd be like he's not Nas, but Nas ain't writing No Hard Feelings either. Like,
right.
So it's okay if Nas was to if Nas was to try, hey, I'm gonna make
I don't even know who. I don't even know who you can compare it to. Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily comparing it to that because it's not fair.
Yeah.
But but the truth of the matter is he was 40-year-old dad who made his first rap album, and that's just the reality of it. And that's part of the story, though, to me.
Yeah.
It's part of it, and I don't think that I'm not.
No, I think it really is it. I mean, Todd and I have talked a lot about it, even though we didn't ever record our 5th episode. But I mean, like, it is like a love letter to his son, and it's in a lot of ways, it is all about his reflection as a father. And
I love that.
I appreciate it. As a 50-year-old father, like I identify with it quite a bit, and then
as a fan of Seth, I appreciate that. But if I was a rap fan finding this album, like I don't think I would think it was the best thing ever. But I'm kind of, biased.
I think
I love Seth.
There's the old saying that comparison is the thief of joy, and for me, I'm almost like sad that everybody's trying to jump to making comparisons, because I just think it is what it is. Like, it's something he wanted to do, and I want to appreciate it.
Natural. That's what
I'm just appreciating it on its own for what it is. Yeah.
Right, but everyone compares everything to everything. So
I know, but I'm just saying that's why nobody's happy with anything. Fair. It's because they, I spent a lot of time listening to it over and over, and I really enjoyed it. And then when I tried to share it with other people, like, a lot of people were just not even willing to give it a chance, like, at all. And that to me also was like disappointing. Is like, they're like, rap, or it's somebody trying to do something different.
And not just random people, like Avett fans. I've noticed a lot of them were like, "Nope, it's rap. I don't want to listen to that." I'm like, "But it's Seth. Give it a chance.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
listen to the lyrics."
what I figured out is that a lot of people just aren't built or didn't come up, I guess, the same way as I did, or what, with hip hop and stuff. Because it's just part of my. I realized it's really a part of my background more than I even kind of realized or something.
Same.
I don't know.
Same with me too. Same thing.
So
yeah.
Anyhow, and I know, Tim, your background is like 100%
Yeah.
in that world.
Yep.
But it's something that I treasure listening to it on vinyl in my house. I can be by myself, and it's great. I enjoy it.
But
Love
I
it.
always try.
Yeah.
My thing is always keep in mind that I try to look at the big picture and the big story of, and it's okay. And I always try to tell even fans all the time, like it's okay if you might not like it now, but you never know. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you may like it, or you may appreciate it more, and that's okay. I mean that's okay. That happens all of the time. I feel like you can forget about an album. If someone's going to make enough albums, you're going to latch on to some bands, part of their catalog. That happens with everybody. But if you stay open, you'll never know what you'll discover and what'll hit you, and you'll be like, oh no, I really do. I like this is good. So I just think over time maybe people appreciate it a little more. What he tried. That's where I'm not opposed to him doing something again that's similar. Maybe just takes, come at it from a different angle, maybe do something different, and then maybe they connect, and and maybe it'll all make more sense to people.
I'm waiting for the reggae album.
Yeah. Could happen. Although Seth would probably do a calypso album. Seth would probably do a calypso album. That would be my prediction.
There we go.
Okay. Well, I know Tanya said a long time ago that he was taking like classical piano lessons. So I keep waiting for like a classical just piano album, just piano music.
Yeah, I always that's my thing. I've always liked Seth's piano playing and Scott's. Like one of my favorite moments. I was recently talking about just the little moments that happen on stage, and obviously I didn't go to any shows, but I watched all of the videos. I mean, there's not a video from this past year that I didn't watch, which took a lot of time. But anyway, like all the I Am Loving You videos, like when they do the switch at the piano is always a wonderful part, and the stuff they play, that gets played when they're just both there is always very nice. But there's one, I'll have to find it, but there's a very specific one where whatever Seth is playing, I don't even know what it is, but I was like, man, that's beautiful. And then like Scott comes in and hits, keyboard. I was like, oh, this sums up everything.
when they had the thing that they did where they did like that transition on the piano during, I think, going into I Am Loving You.
Yeah.
Each performance this year. Yeah. So he was like he varied it up quite a bit during a lot of those.
That's good stuff. So, all right. So Feeth, loved it. Avett Patton, a whole different thing. Tell me your thoughts on it. I don't know if we haven't really talked about the album.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I think it's, my initial, after one listen, my first strike was, wow, I know that's not Scott playing harmonica. He can't play that good. 2, this is the closest we're going to get to a Seth solo or a Scott solo album. Like, it's for the most part, because Scott did, they did start the process, and they are, a lot of them are starting his songs. So I felt like this is like, it's like Scott with them, like this. So this is the closest we're getting right here.
Well, Jim Avett told us when we were down in Concord and we went to Jim's house, he told us that Scott started the songs, gave them to Mike. Mike added stuff to them, then gave it to Seth. Right. Seth added stuff to it and gave it back to Scott, and then Dana put it all together basically for them.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, and obviously in all the, whether it be going all the way back to his, the Harvard, his college days and all the things I've ever heard, like to me, I was like, wow, I knew before that it was just a lot of, that this is Scott all over this thing, which is not surprising because, I mean, not that Seth didn't always mention that, what a big influence that Mike Patton was, but Scott was, I mean, if you look at interviews from 2000, whether it be in college, his first 1997 interview, all the way like 2000, 2001 interviews, he's always like, oh, Mike Patton is my hero. I want to be like Mike Patton. My favorite band is whatever Mike Patton's in. You know, they would go see me. They saw Mr. Bungle on the California tour several times. They've seen Faith No More. I mean, they would go see him. If you listen to, you know, any of the videos I've shared of him and Level, which is before Nemo, I mean, that's Mike Patton. I mean, he's, you know, he wants, you know, not wants to be him, but he's influenced by him tremendously. And they always were. And even when you get to 2008, 2009, when they start to do a lot of interviews, you know, and they'll get asked, who influences your live show? And both of them will always be like, oh, Mike Patton. Over and over, you know, who is the biggest influence on your live show? And it's him. So I'm sure it was just a huge thing to, you know,
Absolutely.
to work with them. And, you know, and Mike Patton does a lot of stuff. I mean, he's, you know, if you've ever looked at all the music he makes, it's everything. Like, it's like he's like checking a box of everything. Like, I mean, had a Mike Patton fan told me that once. Like, when the album first came out, this was happening. He's like, well, Mike Patton, check this box. You did this kind of album. You know, it's done. Like, 'cause that's what he does. I mean, he's worked with Dan the Automator and made, you know, he's made hip hop albums. He's made, you name it. He makes everything. So I'm not surprised that it happened. So,
Yeah, like you
I mean,
said,
I was surprised that when it was announced, like, oh my God, this is going to really happen. But if you would have told me that it could happen, I'd be like, oh, they would love that, you know. And Mike Patton makes so much stuff; it makes sense that, I mean, why would he say no? He makes a ton of releases. So
right. And so the tour, yeah. How many dates do they have on the tour that are Avett Patton?
I don't know. I didn't count the number, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
But
decent.
it's
It's up till you know. First
I
few
like
months
how
of the
their
year.
description of how the shows are going to go. Like, it's going to be, someone asked in one of those Q&As, like, how are the shows going to go? And they're like, well, the plan is to play some Avett Brothers songs, some, you know, Mr. Bungle songs, whatever, some Faith No More songs, and then we really don't know how it's going to go. It's kind of going to evolve as they go, type of thing, it sounds like, which could be
That'd be-
interesting.
No, I think it'll be extremely
It's
interesting. But I still,
21 shows. I
wow.
just counted them. It's 21
Okay.
shows that lead straight up to when they do their Red Rocks.
I'll be interested to see how much do they switch these set lists, or do they stick to? I mean, do they
Right.
kind of have? I mean, I think they kind. I mean, and I wouldn't blame them. They kind of stick to a chunk of songs, and then obviously the covers. But Mike Patton's known to, you know, it's not like he didn't, you know, mix up set lists and throw in crazy covers. I mean, that was their thing back in the day. Faith No More covering, you know, Easy Like Sunday Morning and whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. So I mean,
That would be fun.
and Mr. Bungle's crazy. I mean, that's some wild there. You know, that's some stuff
Yeah.
that I'll be interested to see what they play.
So they said, did I hear you right saying, so they're mixing in everybody's music together?
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
They're
that's
just gonna
interesting.
try.
I like
So
that.
that-
Well, I kind of like that. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, I think
It
that's
does,
a great
yeah.
idea because you're gonna have, you know, Mike Patton fans there, and you know, you're gonna
Right.
might as well just mix it up. I mean, what do you got to lose? I think it's a good thing. And yes, some people from both sides, whether you're an Avett fan or a Mike Patton fan, there may be something here and there you don't like, but why not experience it all and get?
It's going to be a
some
lot of
unique-
converts.
Yeah.
I think
I think
it's
it'll
going to
be
be. I think the first couple of shows are going to happen, and people are going to be like, "Wow."
Because I enjoyed the performances they've done so far. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is great. Like Mike Patton's got us all set up. He's doing his thing. I'm
You're
like,
right.
and I know some people's complaint is his voice, like on the album, but like, man, that's just Mike Patton. I mean, you know, he does a lot with his voice, and he does a lot.
Well, according to Google, Mike Patton is a self-taught musician and has perfect pitch.
Yeah.
That's what Google says.
Oh, wow.
yeah, he
Like
had-
Charlie
it's-
Puth.
You listened to him back in the day. I mean, what a range and what a voice that he had, you know. And so I think, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there to do things. And he's an interesting person and performer. And I just can't see it being nothing but fun. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
so I mean,
I
I,
was
don't know
very
anyone would want to
skeptical.
go. Yeah.
I was very skeptical at first. Like, first listen, I wasn't sure. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But it really took me listening to the whole album like twice. And I was like, you know what? This is good. And then I just kept listening. I'm like, all right. I'm in.
And
I
I
like
think
this
it helps
a lot.
it helps that it's short. I mean, I
Well,
think
right.
if you put in a bunch of, if they added like 5 or 6 more songs, like then maybe it drags on. I think
True.
just the length of the album helps that you get through it and you're like, oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, I don't
it's
know.
like 34
I
minutes,
loved
right?
it, huh?
It's like 34 minutes, the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
something like that. You know,
It's easy to listen to.
but received is,
Oh, I love that song.
what I mean. There's so much of it that it's to me it's really good. I think it's really good. I don't know how people couldn't be excited about it, but everybody's their
I was
thing.
surprised, like, reading comments on, like, Mike Patton fan pages
Yeah.
and all the people saying, wow, uh, didn't see this happening, but now I've downloaded all the Avett Brothers music and I'm deep diving them and they're really good. And it's like they're turning all these people over into, onto the other side, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
That's a
which
good
is,
thing.
yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I got nothing but good things about the album. I don't have any complaints, really. I mean, I listen to it every, put it on, listen to it. My girl Hazel likes it, so
She's
that's
telling
good.
me
She doesn't love it, but she likes it.
she likes it. And then I believe she loves Christmas.
It's
So
a high
she must be
praise.
pretty excited right now.
So, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's exciting to look forward to the year. What else? The live. I mean, I would be all right if they make a live album out of what they play.
Yes.
And I mean, I hope
Yeah,
it's
wait
I
for
think
that.
I think we've been saying they're long overdue for.
Yeah, we're overdue for a
the next
Avett
one.
Brothers live album. But I'd be really good with a live album and a Mike Patton album, like one whole, like give an old Avett concert. It could be from 2025 for anything, and also an Avett Patton release. I think that would be fantastic. I'd be good with that.
We'll have to ask Dolph that next
Yeah.
week about live
Yeah.
albums. See if he
Yeah.
gives us the old, well, I can't really say anything. Like he's done
But it feels like
before.
they should.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, like, not only do I want the next live album, think that's overdue, but I think they're even more overdue for releasing an Avett Brothers family Christmas album, because they do so much with their faith and with, they have gospel roots with their dad and with their family in general. So why not? I think they need. I mean, some people see it as being when when pop stars do it or country stars do it, or it can feel like a sellout or a cash in moment. But I think they would do a bang up job. I think it would be awesome.
I like that idea. Let's put that into
I
the
agree.
universe.
That is in my Christmas list. Maybe not for this year, but hey, 2026. Let's make it happen.
Mention it to Dolph. Note that for next week.
Oh,
too.
so you're making a demands list or a what?
A wish list, not a
a wish
demand
list.
list.
Okay, all right.
But
Fair
I would be
enough.
surprised we get a. We should. I mean, I think we're getting some. We'll get something. A live album. I mean, I won't be shocked if we get another Avett album before you know it. So
Yeah.
it won't
I
surprise
think
They've
you're
been
right.
working on a ton of songs, so I
Oh.
wouldn't be surprised by another album either.
So
All right.
Well-
What else?
What else? Well, one other thing that has been teased, and then they had the commercial kind of trailer, was for the Avetts, which I think they showed that at Red Rocks, right? They showed the full length kind of what seemed like a TV show or movie, level trailer. It had guest stars in it. It had singing. It had all kinds of things going on. And then kind of we haven't heard anything since then. So I think they are bound to be working on this project. But I'm curious when that's going to come to life.
It'll be coming.
yeah, you don't hear anything about that. I mean, there's just the videos. I mean, I forget. I've seen some videos. There's some videos somewhere.
Yeah.
Of it. So
I think maybe it's challenged. I mean, my take is it's lots of things when it comes to quote unquote Hollywood, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to get production things. Sometimes they don't see the light of day. Sometimes they have to go through a lot of iterations. But I'm interested to see that. So since both of you have children that are younger than mine, are they excited about it?
My daughter is. My
They know about it.
14-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah. And my oldest daughter, that's 22, is she loves the Muppets, so
Yeah.
she's all for it.
Well, I heard. I mean, not Avett related, but I heard that. What is it? Seth Rogen is working on bringing the Muppet Show back to TV itself.
Yeah.
So there was like some kind of like teaser trailer or something, some kind of like something hit the social media feeds about a week or so ago. That basically said that he was trying to bring back the Muppet Show. I wonder, does that have an impact on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
The Avetts coming.
Delay?
Like, could that kill it or delay it or anything? I don't know.
Maybe they'll be a part of it.
There you go. Okay.
Never know.
So is Seth Rogen a secret Avett Brothers fan or?
Could be.
Huh.
Inquiring
Interesting.
minds want to know. Let's ask.
So we're starting really wild rumors on the show. None of this is fact checked or anything. It's all conspiracy theories that we're making up on the spot.
Add
But
the
yeah.
Muppets thing to the Dolph list for next week too.
Well, I don't know.
Something else you won't answer.
Right. We're just gonna have a rapid fire section of him just
He's gonna be
staring,
like,
staring at the camera.
Yeah,
and,
I can't say.
shaking his head slowly.
While he's thinking to himself, "Why did I agree to come on this show again?"
Yeah. Well, so what do you predict, Tim? What do you predict is going to happen in the second half of the year, or do you have any?
I think
a
they'll
wish
play
list for
Avett
that?
Brothers shows. I mean, I think they'll
Yeah.
go back to regular Avett Brothers shows, but I think some songs from the album will stick around here and there. The Avett
Yep.
Patton album. Well, it won't surprise me that some get played without Patton.
Do you think Mike Patton shows up at like Red Rocks or something like that?
I don't know. I don't remember when they said when he's touring with Mr. Bungle, so I don't know if. Those,
Oh, that's true.
But I didn't look at the dates exactly to know if they do or not. But I don't know. I would think they would announce it, but if he was,
Right.
I mean, I would assume not, unless he just pops in and he does a song or two or something. It's
Right.
possible. But I don't know, I just think they'll just be Ava shows, and like I said, that's when I think maybe we get something like a live album or something like that. And I just think they just keep going on, keep touring.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the set lists in 2026 are just as good as 2025.
Well, they will be because they'll be all new. Todd, come on.
Yeah.
That's right.
As long as you keep keeping it fresh, I'm cool with it.
I agree. All right, let's. You want to talk about the database a little bit? How can people and your Patreon? We got to get people on your Patreon to support this,
Yeah, if you,
this thing.
This coming year, I got a lot of things we're going to do. Partly because the last time I was here, and Ryan. So on Patreon, long story short, Avett Brothers Archive, putting a lot of stuff up there, stuff every month. But this coming year, there's like a ton of, projects I've just spent years working on, gonna come together finally. Because part of it includes, reading every interview they've ever read, organizing that and into different categories. Every video interview, everything they've ever said from stage, everything they've told a fan and I've heard or I know about. So a lot of it comes to that, but and some of it will be one of the things coming up. Maybe February will be. I'm gonna go through the history of all their band bios, going back from from Nemo to when it changed multiple times in 2001. Like it randomly changed like 3 times in like a month. All right, they took out lines, added lines, to when Bob becomes an official member, the Carolina Jubilee in that era where and Dolph comes in, and then it changes again, and then it changes again, obviously for pretty much almost every release. Then they start to release kind of the statements with I Am Loving You. Yeah, they release something with kind of a big thing with emotionalism too, explaining emotionalism. But I Am Loving You is kind of the big one where Seth writes the whole mission statement, and then they same thing afterwards, even closer together, everything, but I got all of those. We're going to piece those together and go through them so everybody can see the history of those and, the history of, the pretty girl songs, I can tell you who Gabriella is. I know her, everything, just things like that, just and then so much information. I couldn't even go into all of the things, the history of the kick drum and the hi-hat.
Oh yeah.
When did those start? Which one came first? How did it come about? The stories of all of that. Their big June trip in 2001, where, although they won't answer this question, but I'm convinced that's when they came up with the name the Avett Brothers. I'm assuming somewhere in that trip or after it, because the timeline of when they started using the name is a week and a half after that trip is the first time they used the Avett Brothers name, and right before the day before they leave for that trip, they use Nemo as for the Nemo acoustic, or Nemo, old time Nemo. So that trip happens. They travel across the country. They go to California, get chased out by a clown, go up to Seattle. Scott trades a guitar for a banjo, and gets probably as nice as banjo at the time, I think. And then they drive straight back, without stopping, without spending the night anywhere, all the way back to North Carolina. And they also listened to Blood on the Tracks during that and started to be influenced by Dylan a little more. But that whole story of that is coming up. Just all these things I've been working, spending an awful lot of time on, and even more than that, lots of fun things. I have like a folder of lists of jokes Seth has said on stage. Whether it be banjo jokes. Like he used to do a lot of banjo jokes back in the day. So I'm going to start sharing things like that with fans to kind of get all of this information that I have and have saved. And some of it's just silly stuff like that. And I'm putting together a video of their dancing.
It's great though.
Just some of it's little things. But I mean, to me, that's the Avett story, because there's no we did 3 years of heroin and fell apart and then came back. That isn't the Avett Brothers story. Like a lot of not a lot, but like other bands, some people's story is that you completely fall apart. That's the rock and roll story to some people. Where the Avett Brothers, that's not their story. To me, it's a lot of. There's some big moments, Merle Fest early on, and when they headline, there are big stories, but there's also little things. And to me, it's the jokes, the banter, just little things that happen, and I'm going to do a big thing on Scott's art. I've been saving I don't know if everybody's even seen all of his paintings. Not that I have pictures of all of them, but I have a lot that I'm going to share. And that's just cool. A lot of things that if, people are interested in Avett Brothers, I mean, this year, together, and I would like to find a way, and I'll talk to Paul at some point of eventually getting it all online and I can be done with it. And
how will you share? Will you share?
That's my.
Will the artwork be printed, or do you have to get special permission?
No, it won't be printed. I mean, that'll be. I just have the digital files.
Yeah.
That people can see the old, the things he made in I have a picture of a painting he made in 1997.
Yeah.
Things like that. A lot of the ones when he opened that gallery in downtown Concord.
Right.
In 2001, there, I have a lot of the paintings he did during that time, because he always talks about how no one came in there. And he just painted. Although I know a few people who bought paintings from that time, but he did a lot of paintings, and I have he used to share them online. Back in the day, he had like an old original Scott website. It's 2004, I think, when he used to put up paintings, and he would write some stuff, and I have that saved too. Like a few of the things he wrote and put on his website. I mean, sharing stuff like that I'm sure most fans have never read, have never seen. So stuff like that. And even more.
I would love an art book. I would love an art book. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Well, we got to see a couple of Scott's paintings in Jim's studio down in Concord.
Do they
a couple of his when he was a kid or a teenager?
I worry about the house obviously went down, and there was Scott's first water painting. I wonder if it was. Do you have any idea? Was there? He did a landscape painting, and it was always in I think the living room, but I could be wrong about that. Do you have any idea if that was saved?
I know they lost a lot of stuff.
Because I asked once about when because like I said, the earliest painting I have a photo of is a painting called Toothless, and that's 1997. I was wondering if that was how early that was, and he told me that he did a landscape painting, like when he first started doing kind of bigger paintings, in college, and it was in his parents' house. So
there's a self-portrait, I guess, that
there was two of them that he showed us in his studio that Scott did when he was like a teenager. And I don't think either of them were landscape though.
Yeah, no.
And also, have you guys ever seen pictures of, well, it's in, if you look at the extras on May It Last, they go into Scott's room and all the writing.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh man,
I
like
love that.
and David Butler had pictures of that back in the day. David Butler had some pictures of
So speaking, I was going to ask earlier, and we moved on, but what happens to David Butler's archive? Like, are you in touch with the family to try to pull all that
I don't
in?
ask him, but I have. I mean, he shared. I mean, what do you mean, like any videos?
Well, like when somebody passes on, like
Yeah.
there's there's a lot of debate about what should happen with the digital afterlife of like your YouTube channel and your whatever, and all your, like, a lot of people, even if they've shared a lot of things online, it can go away.
I mean, I have. He shared. I mean, I
Yeah.
had always known David for a while, so I mean, I have all of his videos and
Okay.
even the videos that he didn't even do that he had collected, and shows and pictures. I think I have all the pictures.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's something I don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a thing here or there, but like the major ones, anything big that he felt was a good picture, I can tell you I have. Which, so I really wouldn't want to share anything that he didn't feel was quality. So that doesn't bother
Sure.
me. He certainly shared everything that was like he thought was quality. So, but you'll have to. I mean, obviously he had lots of merch and lots of things, that
I think a lot of that stuff was sold after he passed away.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
like
what I
even,
heard.
When they recently did the whole was it not this year, but maybe it was last year, like the Avett welding hat.
Yeah.
I'm convinced because David had a signed set list of that, right? Like it was on the kind of a piece of paper that Avett Welding, and had that the
No way.
logo and everything on it, and he had the set list. I think it's 2005. I think it was a 2005 show. But I shared that once, and I was like, oh, David Butler has it, and then like it couldn't have been a year later they make those come out, those hats come out, and I was convinced that it was because David Butler had that that he had that, but he had
Wow.
so.
Well, that was a funny story that Jim told about. I don't know if you put that in the episode or not, Todd, but when he talked about how they had a gentleman's agreement about using the logo and the merch or something,
Yeah. Yeah, he told me about that last year, actually, in a different episode, and retold it in that one. But yeah, that Scott wanted to asked if he could buy the logo from him to use it for merch, and Jim's like, I'll just give it to you. But Scott and Seth gave him money for it anyway, just because they wanted to do it the right way, and so they weren't using it illegally or whatever. But yeah, that was a funny story you told.
It's funny when I obviously I've spent just countless thousands of hours going through like newspaper archives, which I still do because newspapers still put up new stuff, like, oh, here's more stuff from 1983, but like obviously I search everything Avett related, and like there was a Avett welding bowling league for a while. They were on a bowling team, and like you'll see the standings, like third place. Welding bowling.
Well, now that you mentioned that, they should come out with Avett welding bowling shirts next year.
There you go. I would like that.
So,
I'd wear that.
but yeah.
All right. So
Well, let's talk about. I want to give a shout out not only to the Patreon, the archive, the database are all great. I really love what you're doing with putting the stuff up on Substack. I think it makes it
it's awesome.
a lot more. I don't know. For me, I'm like staying up with everything you're writing and everything you're sharing through there, and I really enjoy that.
And my thing on that is for me to be, I can't post in every group. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
that seemed like a better thing. Like, and and it's all. I mean, people can choose to sign up and give a couple bucks, but it's all free. I mean, I don't have any of that behind a paywall or something. So I just and it's again, I have so much stuff that I'm trying to get together, and I want to get out. I want to share with everybody. I don't want to keep any of it for me. I don't.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with it? Sit around and like, pat myself on the back that I have it? Like that doesn't mean nothing to me. I want to give it all. I want to find a way to get it all. Like if anybody ever wants to read every single interview or any like what I consider a really good interview, I want all those to be up online someday, and everybody able to go back and find anything, the pictures, just so much stuff that I have. And so I'm trying to find all these ways to share it and get it out there, and then also a permanent spot for it to eventually be up there, and I can disappear from the internet and be done with it all.
We don't want you to disappear from the internet and be done, though. We love all the work that you do. We appreciate
So,
all the work that you do.
yeah,
Everyone does.
but it definitely, we'll see how I'm worried about the coming year, about how life will go, about how the time I'm able to do with it, which is why I need,
Mm.
look at, you can subscribe on Patreon for $2, or you can Substack as, whatever. And like, it truly I'm certainly not making anywhere kind of a fortune or a living, but it allows me the time to do it. And I already and I choose to do the time. I don't put that on anybody else. I mean, I choose to not watch TV shows or movies or sports because I do this, and I want to share it with everybody. And and if people give a couple bucks, it it certainly helps and allows me to do it. And it'll come a time where it will end, and hopefully everybody's reward will have all of this stuff you've ever wanted. When you wanted to hear, again, Scott perform in 1998, you'll be able to hear it.
Yeah.
You want to hear them play acoustic early on, you can hear it. You want to hear maybe a sound check, hear them sound check Head Full of Doubt 2007, and they're trying to work it out. I mean, I have a video of that. I have, a lot of things that, I want people to be able to hear and see and appreciate the band and see the growth and see the development of the band from all these years and find enjoyment out of it. I mean, that's my goal. And, but it takes a tremendous amount of time and a lot of, it's anybody who you guys do this and it takes time. I mean, things just take up time. Like, you think you can get through it fast, and all of a sudden it's like, man,
Right.
like, again, like, I've watched every video from 2025 just to spot, did they change the lyric? Did they have any banter in this video? And, and if the band gave me every show, ask Dolph that. Tell them to give me every show. I'd go through every show and I would share every bit of banter with every fan that they ever did, and and document it all, and everything from just even when they switch, if they perform a new arrangement, if they perform a different instrument on a song. I mean, these are the things I keep track of, and maybe they're not important to the giant story of the band, but they're a piece of it. And some fans do care. Like I said, I mentioned earlier that video of just Scott and Seth playing Famous Flower Manhattan this year, the only time they play it. That's a fantastic performance and video. People should watch. If you watch that, you're like, man, that's good. And that's, most of the last, 10, probably 12 years, they don't perform it as a duo. I think there's here or there they have, but normally, obviously, they perform it with more members of the band. And, this time they switched it up the one time they played it this year. So.
Man. So, I mean, they record every show on the soundboard. Why don't they send you a copy of that? I mean,
they're not doing that.
They should.
I'm assuming they're just, there may come a time where they do something with some of them, and they're, and I'm sure that they wouldn't even, they do all these shows and probably don't even remember they're not going to remember when happened, what happened, or what story they told.
But they have the ability to go back and listen to them all.
They
I mean,
do, but
they're all there.
they aren't going to do it. They'd have to have someone else do it. I don't know if Justin does or not. I mean, I can't say for sure what Justin does, which I got to talk. I'm hoping to talk to Justin because January will be 20 years for him hired by working for the Avett Brothers. So
got to get him on the show too. That'd be a good one.
He started, because in January 2006 is where their first really big time. They went out and did tours, but in January 2006 they went out with BR 549, and they were out on tour for the longest time they've ever been, and kind of a real tour, and learned a lot from them, and that was kind of a big time for them. The release of Four Thieves Gone, that tour is another kind of big moment for them, which I got to get the footage of. I got a little bit of it, but that's when there's the whole documentary back in the day, the 5 days. There's the 5 days in the Midwest that, you can see a trailer for it. I think it was online for a while. Those guys.
Isn't that all on YouTube? I think it's
YouTube, but they did like a local access show in Chicago,
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But that obviously it never came out. But I'd like to get that would be nice if that if all that footage appeared someday.
Yeah, that's cool. That would be
because they recorded some show. I have a couple of the shows. They recorded a few of the shows, so those are pretty good.
All right. Well, we are out of time. Unfortunately, we could talk for another hour. I think. but db.nov.blu, right? BLUE, sorry. The database.
Yep.
You got the Patreon, long story short. The Substack, which is awesome as well. Go subscribe to all of them. Support Tim and all the hard work he does. We really appreciate everything you do. And I'm sure we'll have you on many more times in 2026 to get updates on things. And then eventually in December of next year, we'll do a year in review again and see what predictions came true.
Yeah, anytime you guys want me on, just ask. I'll, even if it's just for like a few minutes, if you guys want to talk about a song or anything.
Well,
If you guys
things
got
pop
any
up.
ideas.
It's always nice to have you to come
We
on and
should
chat
do that.
about stuff. Definitely.
We need to have
Appreciate
a special Tim Mossberger section of just
segment, like a segment.
yeah. Segment. All
Yeah,
right.
so I'll help out whenever you guys, anytime, I'll share it, I'll share this on, Instagram and everything.
Well, let's close it out with this. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. We usually do rapid fire questions. I've
Okay.
only got one question for you. What is Tim Mossberger's favorite Avett Brothers song of all time?
Ooh.
And will you answer it?
Yeah, I mean,
Stay tuned for
obviously,
your next episode.
historically, I would say, please pardon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for me to not say no hard feelings,
Yeah.
just because, that song, it hit me the other day. I think today is the anniversary of my mom passing away, and obviously that's on my mind during the week. And we were going to the post office the other day, and it came and it was on, and
Yeah.
I cried. And Hazel's just like, "Why are you crying, Dad?"
Oh man.
And,
Well, I know this is what makes the holidays rough. Honestly, is music, holidays, seeing family, and then family that isn't here any longer. That is what makes it as the highs and lows of this time of year.
I will say in the early days, Left on Laura, Left on Lisa is my favorite song to see live. That was always, in those early years but like I would say, Please Pardon Yourself, Please Pardon Yourself won the first time we ever did the bracket,
Yeah.
that was the winner back in, God, was that 2009, 10 maybe?
Yeah.
To me, that's one of their songs. The whole whisper to a screen thing. That's so. That's one of the songs that define them. So I guess I would, I would go with that if I had to choose one song.
What's your favorite Christmas song ever?
Oh boy.
Starting to end on a higher note.
I think I was, probably the song I listened to most is James Brown. Singing Santa Claus Comes to the Ghetto. Probably.
Yes.
I love my James. Although James Brown Christmas album gets a lot of play.
What's your least favorite Christmas song?
God, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of it. We've been listening to obviously a giant mix of Christmas songs, and my gosh, what is that song? Oh gosh, I can't think of it. I don't know. I can't think of it, but there's some songs, yeah. Maybe it's like a Michael Bublé song or something that I was just like, man, this is horrible. Or no, maybe it's a Blake Shelton song that came up. That was
my gosh.
horrendous.
That does
I was
sound
like,
horrendous.
I didn't even know who it was. I had to look at it. I'm like, this is awful. I can't handle this.
That does sound awful. Good Lord.
Sorry, Blake.
Anything Blake? Oh, I don't know Blake. I don't know anything Blake that I would want to listen to. But okay.
Me either.
I digress.
Let's end on that note.
Okay,
Tim,
I'm gonna add Tim songs to our playlist on Spotify. It's not the show's Spotify, I should say. I've got a Spotify playlist going of the best and worst Christmas songs that we discussed on last week's episode, and I'm gonna include Tim Mossberger songs as well, so that everybody can enjoy good music and bad. And you may disagree. You may disagree, and you may love the Paul McCartney song from back in the day or the whatever. But I'm going to go on a limb and say no one we've talked to likes the Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer song, so I think it's officially canceled. So
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
all right.
All right,
Well,
Tim,
thank you so much. Tom.
We appreciate you and everything you do. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas
Yep. You guys
with your
too.
girls, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
Bye.